Hey guys, welcome to Zero Degree Coder. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to create Zoom meeting in user's account using API. So let's suppose take a scenario. You are building a yoga app where yoga trainers can create a Zoom meeting by authenticating their Zoom. Okay, so how to solve this problem? Let's see. So how to create a Zoom meeting in user's account? So if you want to see first what we have to do. So on whatever account you want to create a Zoom meeting, first you have to authenticate that user. Okay. So to authenticate the user, first you have to create a Zoom app in Zoom Marketplace account. Okay. Now, once we create a Zoom app in Zoom Marketplace account, now you get the credential and APIs keys. Okay. And while creating the Zoom app, you have to also define a scope of permission, like you want the users access, like create meeting or something like that, and like read the calendar of Zoom. Okay. Now you have to understand how there is for that we are using OAuth 2.0. So you have to understand what is OAuth 2.0, how does it works, and you have to also understand like what is the difference between access token and the refresh token. And a lot of people has face a problem in understanding the access token versus refresh token. And once we get the access token and refresh token, we'll make API call to Zoom meeting. Okay, let's understand what is the difference between access token and refresh token. So what is happening now whenever we authenticate a user on Zoom, so we get the user's details along with the access token and refresh token. Okay, so what is the use of access token and refresh token? The use of access token is to create Zoom meeting or perform any action. Okay, but there is a catch. Like access token will expire after 1 minute. Okay, to get the latest access token, what you have to do, you have to use your refresh token. Okay, and from the refresh token, you make API call and you get the new access token and the new refresh token. So you have to also keep maintain that state. Okay, let's do the first step. So let's create a Zoom app in the Zoom Marketplace. So what you have to do, just Google it, Zoom Marketplace. Okay, so when you do Google, so you will get this URL. Let me open this URL. Now I have to click on sign in. If you are building a first time, then you can sign up. So I'm going to sign in on my Zoom app marketplace. So I'm going to use my Google. Okay. So it's just get signed in. Okay. Now once you get signed in, what you have to do, you have to click on develop, and under that you have to click on build apps. But I have already created one app. So let's quickly go there. I click on manage. Okay. So here I created one app called Alishan. And if I show you, so we are using Indian to publish, yes. So first, what you have to do, here's my client ID, client secret. So what you have to do now, once you create the app, so you have to add, like it will ask the app name, nothing else. So just give the app name. Okay. Now another thing is that you get the client ID and client secret, just copy that and use in your .env. Okay, this is the for development purpose, and you have to also add a redirect URL for OAuth. Okay, so like let's suppose you authenticated to your Zoom, and after that, how does you have to redirect to OAuth? Okay, let's the home page or whatever the page, and we have to also a list OAuth allow list, like on which website you gonna use this Zoom APIs. So I just allow the list, like localhost on 3000, it will be okay. And now inside this, like you can add some information which you want to add, like short description it will ask you. So I added some simpler, but there's one catch, like you have to always mention this, like whatever the redirect URL for OAuth. Okay, so I just add this one localhost, this one for the development. And you have to also, like this uh allow on this endpoint. Okay, now go on the features, and on the features you can nothing you have to do for this. Go on the scope. The scope is very important. So what you have to do now, so to create meetings you have to add three scopes. The first thing is called view information barrier. This one, view and manage information barriers. So if and all users meeting, and get meeting users in code, view all manage users meetings, view and manage all users meeting. So what is gonna use now? So meeting colon write and admin. So you get the permission to write the scope. So basically, why we adding a scope, we are adding the scope to, we are asking a permission, like the users while authenticating. Man, are you gonna allow me to create Zoom meeting? He's gonna yes, yes, so he will authenticate. So we are having a, like, view information barrier and so on, view all users meeting. Okay. Okay, now, and this one, it's much more important, so don't forget to add this meeting, this permission. And on the user section, view users information and manage users. So this is, so the mostly you can select the this meeting formation which gonna help you to create Zoom meeting. So this is the one of the crucial parts. Okay, and this the app locally if you want to test, and nothing else. Like that is for the this is the for the production purpose. So let's see the app which I had worked on. So let me quickly show to you guys. uh there's one project where I implemented this Zoom over. So let's quickly see that how it's working. So I added one button. Okay, authenticate to Zoom. So what is gonna happening now here? So first we are generating a OAuth URL. Okay, and once we generate that OAuth URL, we are just opening that URL on the browser. Okay, so it just generating the OAuth URL. Let me open in the network tab. So you can see here. So what has happened now? We get the URL in the OAuth, and after that we have to authenticate. Like it's already authenticated before the tutorial, so it doesn't ask me to re-authenticate myself. So what I can do here, okay, if I open in this in the any another browser, let me show you. So how it's gonna look like, just for clarification. So when you click on Zoom, so first it will open a redirect URL, and redirect URL will navigate to this page. This page I was not getting because I already signed up and it was stored in the cache. And when we authenticate with Google, it is gonna ask me some permission, but I've already, on this browser, I've already done that. That's why, it just it is not asking again for the authentication. Cool. Now, if I want to show here also, let me give a try that it's working here. So maybe it will not work here because uh, because we have to define a certain access. Like, so let me remove this quickly, and again authenticate to Zoom. I click on authenticate to Zoom, and it will open the Zoom app marketplace. And we are getting error because it's we have just allowed this user for the testing purpose. Okay, now let's see how we can do this all this stuff quickly. So first, what is happening on the front end? If I show you, so we are generating a Zoom auth URL. So we are hitting this API, generate Zoom auth URL. Okay. So if I open here, so we are calling this function generate Zoom auth authenticate URL. So let's go on the Zoom controller, and we are calling this function generate Zoom authenticate URL. Okay. Now we have a URL like Zoom authorized URL. We have to use this URL, and we have to pass the client ID and the redirect URI. Okay, and so I'm adding a params. In the params, I'm passing this all this stuff like response type code and the client ID. This is the client ID which you have to pass, and redirect URI. Okay, and on the Zoom URL, and we create a and on the Zoom URL, we have to, like, this pass this on this URL, we have to add in a params. Now after that, once we make API call, it will, no, sorry. So after building this URL, we have to just send it the front end, and it will open that Zoom UI, the authentication URL, this page. Okay. Now once we get this URL, after that, in the response, we're gonna get the token that is called access token. Okay, so if I open this another Zoom controller, so what is happening now, we get on the redirect page. Okay, so once we get the redirect page, so let me open that redirect page, Zoom redirect. So what is happening, if I just quickly tell you. So what is happening here, we are adding a generating a Zoom authenticate URL. When we are passing a redirect URL, like once the OAuth is successful, then redirect the users on this page. Okay, so on the Zoom redirect, So on the there is one thing which just quickly. So once we authenticate the user on a React page, we also get a code. Okay. So we are reading the code, authorization code from the query on the params. Okay. Once we get the code, we are making API called generate access token. Okay. So there is a function called generate access token. So we are making API called generate access token, and let me see what is happening here on the generate access token. So I just go on this, and we are having a function called generate access token. So we are having a client ID, we need client secret, and we are having a redirect URI. Okay. And don't forget that this redirect URL which you have passed in the generating Zoom authenticator URL, that URL should be also correct in generate access token. Otherwise, you might get some errors. Okay, don't forget that. Now, after that, I'm making authorization. So we are passing a an authorization code. So once we get the authorization code, we have having some validation. Okay. Now, after that, we did the authorization code, and after that we are making API call. Okay, HTTP with headers authorization code on this form. And don't forget the this data, basically we get the authorization code from the front end in the params which we have sent authorization code. Once we get that, we are sending this on the headers, we are passing authorization basic. This is the in this format we have to pass basic dot base 64. In code we are encoding the client ID dot with the colon with the client secret. Okay. And once we encode this, we inside the form data, we have to post this, and we are passing grant type and the code. We have to pass the authorization code and the redirect URI. Perfect. Now this is the code you just copy. I just add in. You can take a screenshot, and you can tell with a chat GPT to convert in a XCOS format or whatever. You can just do that. And once we get the response, now here what is happening on the dollar response, we get the access token and the refresh token. Okay. So what is happening here? So we get the access token and the refresh token. Okay. So basically, once we get the authorization code from the front end, we are making API call to HTTP API Zoom.Oauth user token. And once we get that token, we are you know we are get the response. Inside the response we have access token and refresh token. So what is happening, we are just storing it on the database. Perfect. Now we authenticate the Zoom, we are authenticate the user, and we get the access token and refresh token. Now we have to create a Zoom meeting, right? Now how to create Zoom meeting? Okay. So to create a Zoom meeting, we have to, there's one function which I'm going to show you here. So to create a Zoom meeting. Now there's a next thing is that you have to able to create a Zoom meeting on that user's account. Okay. So this is the data, like you can pass like topic, type, what is the duration, what is the time zone, do you have password, what is the agenda, and some setting you can pass it. For more, you can just take a reference of Zoom. Okay. Now once we get that, all the you create a one data, and what you have to do, we have to pass the uh, we have to make API called http apis.zoom.us v2 users slash me slash meetings, and inside that in the authorization you have to pass the bearer token, bearer as a access token. Okay, so I'm passing the access token, and it will create a Zoom meeting. Okay, there's one thing which I just letting you know, like before creating a Zoom meeting, we have to first generate access token. To generate access token, what we have to do, we have to use client ID, client secret. Okay. Now we have to make API call on this http zoom.us.auth.token, and using the client ID in the column client secret. Okay. And the client type is reference token, and we have to pass the reference token. Okay. So basically, to generate the access token from reference token, we have to pass the reference token. So what is going to happen now, in the response you will get the access token and the reference token, and you have to update that latest one, and you have to use the latest access token to create a Zoom meeting. Okay. Now there's one thing which I'm just letting you know. There's one article, Medium article, Zoom uh, meeting API. Medium. So I love this article. You can go through with this more. Uh, this one, Umesh Labbu. So this is the article. They have mentioned that how does OAuth 2.0 works. So I just letting you know this diagram. So let's suppose this is our front end. Okay. Now to so what is happening now? First, we have to authorization code. We get the authorization code. So first, we hit on the Thum authorization server. Okay. We get the authorization code, and after that validate that code, and we get the access token. Once we get the access token, okay, access token and refresh token, we have to generate a because there's one thing, like refresh token will expire after 1 minute. So once if it get expired after 1 minute, so you have to generate a new access token. To generate access token, we have to make that API call, which I've already told you. And for more further assistance, you can watch this, take a look, quickly look on this article. But yeah, that's how we can create a Zoom meeting on the user's account. This is so straightforward. Let me know if you have any questions. I think, yeah, that's all. Thanks. Bye bye.